Hey, we're back with another edition of Standing on Business with Alicia Cooper. This is episode 2 of the three-part series on Allen Iverson on Prime. And episode 2 gave everything I needed it to give. It started with Allen Iverson in prison. He has been sentenced to 5 years on some straight up BS. So what is he going to do? He's just resigned himself to the fact that he's going to be in there for 5 years. He had boxes and boxes of letters from universities, Division One, Division Two, Division Three. Every school with a basketball program offered him a scholarship. And these attorneys knew that this boy had a bright future ahead of him. Every school wanted him. He was the number one player in the country in football and basketball. And they knew this. Instead of giving him some sort of situation where he could still be the best version of himself and still have a future, instead, they wanted to obliterate this young man. It was just vicious and malicious. So not only was it racist, but while this young man was in this prison thinking he was going to do 5 years, he was getting hate mail and death threats. Grown people were taking their time to mail this young man, because they like to call other people's kids when they in their 30s and 40s. They can be kids. I'm going to call him a kid because he was 18 years old. They sent this kid hate mail and death threats. Grown, bored, unhappy, broke, unsuccessful people hating on this child. And the assistant woman from the Commonwealth, what was this woman's name? This chick's name was something like Caroline Khalil. Let me see if I can find her name. She was just a little too gleeful for me about taking this boy's future from him. Her name was Colleen Kalia. She retired in 2021, thank the Lord. She was the assistant Commonwealth attorney, and they interviewed her, and she's going to say, he can get rehabilitated in jail. Ma'am, you just took a child's future, and you are happy about it. So all his schools took back their offers because he had been given that harsh sentence, and every single D1, D2, and D3 level school no longer wanted him. But the Lord intervened, and guess what? After serving 4 months, the first black governor of the Virginia Commonwealth, L. Douglas Wilder, uh, basically commuted him, pardoned him, and his sentence was overturned because they said this mob crap that they used, they didn't prove it. So it was overturned. L. Douglas Wilder let him out, gave him clemency after 4 months in prison. And now, what was he going to do? And think about that. L. Douglas Wilder, being the first black governor of Virginia, that's why he got out. Had there been any other governor of Virginia, he would have done the full 5 years. And that's why when people say elections don't matter and voting doesn't matter and don't vote, that's why them don't voters, I want to cuss them out every time they say that. If people took that and didn't vote and didn't get L. Douglas Wilder elected, Allen would not be the Allen Iverson that we know today, because he would have been railroaded in jail for 5 years, and then too many teams would have been too scared to touch him. So don't let anybody tell you that voting doesn't matter and not to vote. As soon as they tell you that, cuss them out, because there's too much proof as to why voting matters. So his mother went to the library and started looking up coaches. She found two coaches, Mike Jarvis at GW, George Washington University in Washington, D.C., and John Thompson at Georgetown. And she chose to call John Thompson. She went and met with John Thompson. She begged him. She cried. She said, please help my baby boy. He had no priors. And John Thompson said, you know what? No parent has ever come to me the way you came to me. And if he gets out, I will take him. 4 months later, he got out, and John Thompson kept his word, and Allen went to Georgetown. Allen was scoring 40 points a game. Because I think now he has something to prove. And one of the guys there, he said the guy's name, but I can't remember the guy's name right now. But this guy was a walk on. He taught Allen Iverson how to do the crossover because he was crossing everybody up. And Allen said he had to swallow his pride and ask him, "Hey, man, how are you doing that?" And the guy was nice enough to show him how to do the crossover. And that was the thing that put him apart from everybody else in the NBA. He crossed over Michael Jordan. And so the guy just told him you got to get down real low. And Allen was already low to the ground anyway. So that was perfect. That was perfect. So yeah, he learned how to do the crossover and he crossed people over for 2 years at Georgetown. And then, his family needed the money. His sister had was having seizures. So he went to John Thompson and told him, "I'm thinking about leaving after this second year." And John Thompson said, "Go get that money." He was so happy that he had the blessings of John Thompson. And I feel like that was so classy of John Thompson because you don't know, you might get injured the next year and never get any money. So he let him go and gave him the blessings after 2 years at Georgetown. And yes, Allen was the number one overall pick. The Philadelphia 76ers with then minority owner Pat Croce, they picked Allen Iverson number one. And he was in the top draft pick of all draft picks. They had, I think, Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant and Ray Allen. And it was so many Hall of Famers in that 1996 draft. But yeah, so he was selected number one overall, had a 3-year deal. Before he even started playing the first game, he had a 50, well, they didn't say this, but I looked it up, a $50 million Reebok deal. Everybody else was going with Nike, and Nike was going to take him, but they weren't paying that much. Reebok said, "We want you to become the face of the teenagers and bring the young people over to Reebok." So he got a big Reebok deal and was immediately wealthy before he signed his Philadelphia 76ers deal. And yeah. He Allen was on his way. So he got the big money. He went to Philadelphia, killing them, killing them, killing them in Philadelphia. So now, I mean, just things are looking good. Things are looking up. And let me see, how did that episode end? I was on such a high enjoying myself with with AI. And yeah, so he's really figuring out his way in the NBA and things are going well. So stay tuned. I'll let you know what happens for episode 3. So Allen Iverson, prime, you can see it for yourself. He's looking good. He's it. He's it. He's it. He's the answer. Oh, you know what else happened in there? So he's in Philly, and the head coach is Larry Brown. Larry Brown is a taskmaster. He's like all 13 people make up the team. You have to come to practice. There's certain ways, there's a right and a wrong way to do this. And Allen is exactly the opposite. He's the young gun. He's got the hip hop vibe. You can't change him. He's got the braids. And him and Larry Brown are like oil and water. Oil and water. They are not getting along. Larry Brown actually benched him. You can see the look on his face like, I ain't never been benched. I started playing at 5 and I ain't never been benched or taken out of a game. He was shocked that Larry Brown benched him. And so it was a clash of the Titans. And Allen called Pratt. This is what Pat Croce said. According to Pat Croce, Allen called him and said, "I want Larry Brown fired, and I want him fired by the morning." So we're going to see what happens with that request. We're going to see how this all shakes out. So stay tuned for episode 3. I will upload that next.